All these innovations, products, sports teams, entire companies take imagination and drive. They also need belief, and from belief, investment. Moving on to Jack's Big Bite. That's where we focus on one particular story or topic in our community. A community we believe in with our partners at First State Bank. Stop into one of their local branches or visit online at fsb4me.com to access all the helpful tools and services at First State Bank, built on belief and committed to doing right by our communities. For today's Big Bite, presented by First State Bank, we're talking Cincinnati innovation, or Cinovation, if you will, and I wish you would. America is 250 years old, and Cincinnati's been around for more than 230 of those years. We have talked before about Cincinnati's history going back a couple of centuries with wine and pork. But there has been a lot of innovation as well, a lot of firsts here when it comes to businesses and more. We are going to start with a biggie. Hit that. Professional baseball started in this city back in 1869 when the Cincinnati Red Stockings made their debut. Baseball was not invented here as a sport, but fittingly for a Cincinnati business show, this is where the guys went pro. The Cincinnati Baseball Club was founded in 1866 and joined the National Association of Baseball Players, or NABBP, in 1867. Much of that team made up of cricket players, and it was player Harry Wright who proudly told the press that the guys on his team were getting paid. Imagine all the late 1800s pearl clutching with such a statement. Cincinnati enclosed the field that they were playing on, so people had to pay to watch the games. Other clubs then followed suit. The NABBP in 1869 realized that rosters were made up of paid players, so they gave the green light to that in that same year. Along those same lines, it was Cincinnati that established the first fully paid professional fire department in America, officially organizing in 1853. Before that, most cities relied on volunteer groups. In terms of products that were innovated and made here, let's go back in time.
A fun factory. Let's have a Play-Doh party. Yeah! A shooting star.
You can have a Play-Doh party anytime with the Play-Doh Fun Factory.
I made spaghetti. Fire! Make a hose. No, it's a snake. I want your spaghetti. He got the spaghetti.
By yourself or with the gang, you can have a Play-Doh party.
It's fun.
The Play-Doh Fun Factory toy comes with everything you see here.
Play-Doh started as a household cleaning product back in the 30s. Of course, now we're getting to the point where we have to specify that means 1930s. The Cuddle Product Company invented it to clean coal residue that used to collect on walls, although it did have a different name. Cuddle was the biggest wallpaper cleaner maker, but when coal stopped being the main fuel to heat homes, the company was in trouble. The owner of that company was Cleo McVicker, and his son, Joseph, was trying to turn things around in the 1950s when he got word from his sister-in-law, who was a nursery school teacher, telling him that kids in her class liked to use the non-toxic dough to make shapes. It was Kay Zufall herself who named it Play-Doh. Also in products for kids, Uno came from Reading in 1971 as Barber. Merle Robbins came up with a game for his family that was fun for the kids and the grown-ups. Mattel told the Inquirer back in 2021 that Uno sells 17 decks every minute worldwide. Another store shelf mainstay that was invented and innovated here.
It's out there again, waiting. Allergy season, but allergies don't have to be a big problem. Not with fast-acting Benadryl, the most prescribed allergy medication ever.
Benadryl, real name diphenhydramine, was discovered in 1943 by chemist George Revishkel and his student Fred Huber at the University of Cincinnati as they were searching for muscle relaxants. Partnering with Park Davis, it won FDA approval as the first prescription antihistamine in 1946 and later shifted to over-the-counter status in the 80s. We have talked about Cincinnati's manufacturing history on the show before, but we've only alluded a little bit to how Procter & Gamble really got started making its name. In the late 1800s, bathing in rivers wasn't all that unusual, and chemist James Gamble came up with a gentle soap using cottonseed oil, which was cheaper, and that concoction had a bar that floated. The story goes that Harry Procter was in church trying to come up with a name for that soap, and that's when he heard Psalm 45, verse 8. All thy garments smell of myrrh and aloes and cassia out of ivory palaces, whereby they have made thee glad. So that's how Cincinnati invented and marketed ivory soap. Cleanliness, of course, being next to godliness. One more of these before we go, innovated in Cincinnati. Lots of companies started here, including, now that is an internal company map from the Kenner Toy Company back in 1973, posted on KennerCollector.com. Has a really nice history of things. The toy company that made Star Wars action figures and more started on Kenner Street near Union Terminal back in the 1940s. The Steiner brothers were working there, and as packages being sent between designers and manufacturing from all those buildings you saw on that map were being shipped between those buildings and Kenner Street, messengers eventually just knew where to go after a while if the box just said Kenner on it. It took Kenner 28 years to hit its first $100 million in sales. Thanks to Star Wars, it doubled that figure to break $200 million just in 1978. And by 1985, Kenner had sold over 300 million Star Wars action figures alone. It wasn't just a one-hit wonder with Star Wars either. Kenner did the Easy Bake Oven in 1963, the Spirograph in 1966. It got Play-Doh in 1970. There was Stretch Armstrong in 1976, and both Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears toys came out in the early 80s. That is a Cincinnati company becoming the third largest toy company in the country. All these innovations, products, sports teams, entire companies take imagination and drive. They also need belief, and from belief, investment.